Hello there, YouTube. Once more onto the breach, as Wren is off doing research on some more in-depth material for her next random rant and review. She handed me a 10-minute video from an individual that she found particularly distasteful, which when Robin Dupre Reed caught wind of it, promptly resulted in a nomination for an award on this past week's Fundy Fucktardary Friday. I have seen the clips Robin used, and in discussion, the individual went after her, Kage, and our dear friend Cool Hard Logic, amongst others. He was promised a video response to his nonsense, and here it is. If you have a bottle of some sort of cheap vodka or some other form of paint thinner handy, you might want to take a belt before engaging his material. I'm not going to harp on about unbiased reporting for this video, because if it wasn't about cracking down on dishonesty and disinformation, then there wouldn't need to be a video in the first place. The month took a bit out of us all, to the point where the final video is still being held up by a lack of audio. So if we get things out of order, then forgive us, please, while we get ourselves back into the swing of things. On the plus side, we found a few shortcuts to make the editing process that much easier. On the downside, our research time has been greatly curtailed, as an attempt to move base to a safer location has resulted in a lack of stable internet service. We're doing the best we can with what we have, however, and we're committed to keeping you all in content at the current rate. Everyone got their peril-sensitive sunglasses and towel ready? Excellent. 6 pints of lager, and we're off to visit the Vogons for a poetry reading. Our subject today, EkonRekon, and his variation of science, entitled I Talk to the Wind.
What about it, YouTube?
Vertical cell phone video, and no attempt to clean up before going on camera. Go on, adjust your camera, because you can't before the fact. And who wears shades indoors at night? Right. Someone trying to be cool.
Alright, Geocentrism. There's a movie coming out real soon called The Principle. I'd like everybody to try and check it out if you can.
No. I'll pass. It'll cut into my time debunking you.
In the meantime, you can Google Geocentrism. You can check out Malcolm Bowden's videos. You can
Malcolm Bowden? Oh, right. Wren did a smackdown on him already, as did Mare Ziller. Poor bastard likes to encode in half-pal, which makes it difficult to do debunk videos on his bullshit. Well, go on, then. Yammer on for a moment about the movie and then get to the point. If you talk to the wind, I bet it's got some interesting things to say.
check out these guys who are making this movie called The Principle, and it's very, very interesting. And I'm going to throw in my own 2 cents that comes from my own common sense that expands upon their work, okay?
Okay, if you're going to expand upon their work, then maybe you can start with your qualifications. I'm a troubleshooter with an interest in anthropology and a childhood spent in a religious gulag. How about you?
Which I hope you all go check out because the science is there. Here's Tycho Brahe. Tycho Brahe showing that there's a sexier model than the Ptolemaic model that is geocentric. I'd check out Tycho Brahe.
That's pronounced Brahe, bub, and that model on the picture was debunked ages ago. Didn't you get the memo? You know, about that space program thingy? Brahe was trying to come up with a more accurate model than Ptolemy. Yes, but I doubt sex appeal had anything to do with it. Brahe was looking for a better way to predict the motions of various objects than the 13 volumes of calculations required by the previous model. While they were of some use, they were very weighty affairs, and their accuracy was questionable. His failure to measure parallax with the naked eye was what led him to the conclusions of that model, and once Kepler had established proper laws of motion, the tectonic model collapsed fairly readily.
Up in the link. And here's my common sense deal, alright?
Common sense deal? If you've ever met people, you would know that common sense is nothing more than a shared pack of cultural memes so ingrained into society that they are assumed to be fact, regardless of source or adherence to the laws of nature or even logic. My mother used to set a pan of water in with the cakes she'd make occasionally, and when I finally got around to trying it, my partner Jack asked me why I did that. Because it was the way Mother always did it, and it hadn't occurred to me that it should be otherwise. A few calls revealed that the practice was started by my great-great-grandmother, and her diaries complained about the oven needing balance to keep the cake on the damned rack.
Here's the common sense deal, alright? The religion of scientism.
Religion of scientism? Did you really just say that? I think about it. I'm glad Kage decided not to do this one himself. He'd go on for an hour about your abuse of language alone.
And Galileo Copernicus, the rest of it. This tells you that the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles per hour around like this to create the days. Okay? Right off the bat, you should start to say, wait, 1,000 miles per hour is faster than the speed of what? Sound. Sound is what air travels through.
You made mention of this flub in your description, because you got that exactly reversed. Sound travels through a medium, not necessarily air. Only in the lack of such a medium does sound not travel. Thus the saying in space, no one can hear you scream. However, sound travels nicely through solids, liquids, and gases, although the range depends entirely on the density of the medium. Not as far through dense rock or metal as through water, and that not as far as air.
Right? So somehow or other you've got this air that coats the Earth as it spins 1,000 miles an hour, right? And somehow there is zero effect. In fact, there is a negative effect of the Earth's spin. Okay, you're spinning this way actually here, because this is going east to west, so the sun in there. Okay, here's the sun, and here's the Earth hauling balls like this.
20% down, and it's blatantly obvious that you've forgotten a major factor. Master Desert File, if you'd do the honors.
Gravity, you fucking retard! Gravity! Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity!
1,000 miles an hour, okay, faster than the speed of sound. What is the mechanism that allows the atmosphere and the air to not only travel as fast as the Earth around, but actually up to and around 100 miles per hour faster, which is our jet stream, which travels in the same direction as the scientism religion of heliocentrism, acentrism teaches. That is that our jet stream travels up to 100 miles an hour, going this way, right? Here's North America, and here's the jet stream, goes west to east, and here's the spin of the Earth, right? Same direction. How is that going to happen? How is the air going to actually overcompensate the Earth's spin? What's the mechanism that's going to do that? That's my common sense question right there.
Since you didn't get it the first time, here's that mechanism again. Desert File?
Gravity!
The atmosphere is at rest with respect to the surface, held down by gravity. From there, uneven heating of the planet by the local stellar primary creates air currents which form the gentle jet stream you're now going to suggest you deity did instead. Your scientism is about to fail you.
And then if you want to take it a step further, you can start asking questions about, like, how come there's not a weight difference if you're standing at the equator, say you're standing right here, alright, or you're standing right here, right?
There is a weight difference, but for something that weighs a couple of 100 kilos, the effects are negligible. Because there have been maps made demonstrating this, and you are a small percentage heavier at the poles than you are at the equator, because you're farther from the center of gravity. You would see something significant were you dealing in objects larger than a megaton, and even then, the difference is negligible.
Right? Because right here is spinning, the centrifugal force should be throwing you off the planet. At 1,000 miles an hour, it should be throwing you off the planet enough that there would be a weight difference, a perceived weight difference, in their theory of gravity that they don't fully understand yet either.
For an object with a couple of 100 kilos mass, you wouldn't perceive a difference. The force of gravity would still completely overpower any level of outward force applied by rotation. Besides, then you have to deal with this funny thing called inertia, which states clearly that an object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. Since you're a part of your environment, inertia and friction will keep you in place unless you are large enough to have an effect on the object you're walking on. If you get your ass out of that ratty chair and walk to the fridge for a beer, you are acting upon your environment in such a way that you move. What's holding you fixed to the surface, and thus moving along with your environment? That's right.
Gravity, you fucking retard! Gravity! Have you ever heard of fucking gravity? Gravity!
Okay, so that's my thing, okay? So, besides all of the experiments you'll never hear about that point to geocentrism, there's no observable effect that would coincide with that theory when it comes to the weather and the winds.
Which experiments? And how has your uneducated ass heard of them when the rest of us haven't? Oh, right. Malcolm Bowden. Those experiments are taught openly in astrophysics classes. Ziller is taking a bunch of those, and I'm sure he can refer you to the papers in question.
Okay, I contend that if their theory was correct, there'd be no way that life above the sea level could exist, because your ass would be blown to oblivion from, the 900 mile per hour plus winds that we're going to be blowing your ass away.
Argument from ignorance and personal incredulity, tacked onto a strawman that's covered in cherries that you grabbed 4 of before you staked it out and left it for the fucking crows. Did you bother to do any research beyond watching Malcolm's videos?
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, you got air here. What's going to make the air move around the earth, okay? And I've heard these guys say, like, you take a cup and you put it in water and you spin the cup and you'll see the water start to go around. The water never goes faster than the cup, and there's a different coefficient of friction when it comes to water and a cup than there is with a solid like the earth.
So you know what friction is. That's at least a start. But you're still forgetting all that other stuff I said earlier about gravity and temperature variations causing weather.
And air. Much bigger difference in coefficient friction. Okay, so that's retarded. Alright.
I don't think that word means what you think it means. I'll let you guess which word I'm talking about.
So what's the other explanation is that the earth and the ether is traveling around each day, causing the days, right? Now, if the earth and the ether is traveling around, causing the earth and the days, like here's the sun traveling this way, right? My contention is that there may be, and Tycho Brahe said that there was a little bit of movement in the earth, but not much. And I would contend that the movement in the earth is being drugged slightly in this direction by the ether and the sun, to where you have that 100 mile per hour effect of wind going underneath the earth as it's being drugged by the 900 miles per hour slower, but still being drugged by the effect of the ether and the universe and all of the pole, gravitational, whatever you call it, that's somehow perfectly balanced around us, and magically, because monkeys fuck each other and make humans.
I let you run on at the mouth there for a bit, just so the level of ignorance involved here can really sink in. There are a few things wrong here. First, you have yet to establish that the sun moves around Earth. You then start in with the ether conjecture, which was soundly nulled by the Michelson-Morley experiment and Ares telescope. Brahe's assumption of some sort of minor movement still has the Earth rotating in retrograde every 10 days, hardly stationary, and still completely at odds with observation. You pulled that out of your ass in an attempt to stave off an attack on the middle of your argument by acknowledging something akin to frame dragging. You then dropped the creationist canard about monkeys having relations and producing humans. It didn't happen, and you know it. We're all apes, yourself included. Our last common ancestor with monkeys was more than 10 million years ago. To be fair, though, I have to give you points for consistency. Out the same canard in the comments to this video as well.
Anyway, going off into some other stupid shit, but this is the idea, is that here you have the sun and all of the universe traveling this direction to cause the days. Okay, here's North America, so here's the sun.
You have a tiny problem with that. in that the Earth would have to be more massive than several galactic clusters to keep the edges of the observable universe in orbit around it. Never mind all the stuff in between. Just to keep Neptune in its current orbit and traveling around the Earth once per day, it would have to be more than 70 times the mass of the black hole at the center of our galaxy.
And it's getting a slight drag on it this way. Right? And that slight drag is causing air to go slightly this way, right? That would explain the jet stream. That would explain the weather patterns, right? It would explain why there isn't hellacious winds.
It would, if Earth's surface was frictionless. Only, unlike space, it's not. You have this exactly reversed, or so it would seem. In your world, the ether is viscous, and drags things along, and the sun's gravity afflicts Earth's rotation, giving it a retrograde rotation of 1/10 of the actual motion to explain a thing that's already well understood, so much so that people can predict with more than reasonable accuracy every day. All they have are a few radar or satellite images, a bit of maths, and knowledge of solar radiation and the hydrological cycle. You lack all of those things, and so you insist that Malcolm Bowden and first-grade maths must be correct.
That would explain why Tesla and I don't know how many other people in classical astronomy and Tycho Brahe and the rest of them were correct. That there's no parallax in...
This is bald assertion on your part, for which you have provided exactly zero evidence to date. Brahe failed to note parallax because he was working with the naked eye, and his average amount of error was 2 arc minutes. Never mind the 3/4 of an arc second needed to get the parallax of Proxima Centauri. His failure to measure parallax without a telescope would be why he concluded that the Earth was stationary. He can be forgiven for that, though, as he lacked a critical tool, the telescope, which wasn't invented until 8 years after his death. You live in a time, more than 400 years after that invention. What's your excuse?
When you view stars, and I mean, you guys need to Google geocentrism so you can start to learn about this shit. Have an open mind. I know that we're all behavior modified to just believe whatever we're fucking told in school, but have a fucking open mind and ask tough questions like mine about the wind and about the difference in gravity and
Now you've asked us to go and do your homework for you, and topped it off with a conspiracy theory. You know, you're really not very good at this academia thing. Why should we take the word of an uneducated dimwit over that of someone that's devoted their life to the study of such phenomena? Oh, right. Because the GUV is brainwashing everyone. You betcha.
shit, and you know what I mean? This is common sense shit I'm coming up with. I'm surprised I'm the only one that comes up with the common sense shit.
You wouldn't know sense if it was a viper biting you on the ass. Besides, what happened to your partner in slime, Malcolm? He's getting lonely. We covered this bit already, but I'll say it again. Malcolm is wrong. Michelson and Morley were looking to save the ether conjecture, and wound up murdering it. With the other experiments you mentioned, it was instrumental in entirely falsifying it. 3.5 minutes to go, and it's not getting any better.
But there's other shit that's much deeper that has to do with the Michelson-Morley and the Sagnac effect, and the Michelson, whoever the hell else experiment that all point towards against what they wanted. When they went into these experiments, they were hoping to prove heliocentrism, you know, this shit going on. They were hoping to explain that. This direction, though. Yeah, they were hoping to explain that. But instead, it kept coming back wrong. They came up with the theory of relativity. It falls on its face in a different ways. But anyway, everybody wants to jack off to Einstein when Tesla was the real deal.
Einstein was the person that put relativity all together and codified it. The idea had been floating around for years prior. Tesla was a rock star, but his beef was with Edison, not Einstein. Lovely man managed to wreck Edison's shit as an electrical engineer. Edison was a puffed-up suit.
But beyond that, check out this Earth real quick again. I'm just gonna throw in as a last caveat to this video. Once again, my groundbreaking discovery of the mechanism that caused the flood and the oceans and the sedimentary layer and the fossil record and the mass extinction of great fauna and the stretch marks and in the fresh basin sea floor of the ocean and the continental shelves. Okay, all of it. All right. Wow.
Yes, you tell us all about geology, a global flood that never happened, and a fossil record that can be proven to be far older than your flood myth. You've never heard of plate tectonics, the geologic column, or the Cambrian explosion, have you?
What happened was, you can go to Neil Adams, you can see how the Earth fits together like a puzzle, a quarter of the size, okay?
A quarter of the size it is now. Say what?
Quarter of the size, you got Earth, roughly around, right? And then, as it says in Genesis, I don't know how they knew, whatever, it says that the seas were trapped underneath the dry land. It says it in Genesis 1.
Bible reference use as an appeal to authority and de facto ad populum argument. Genesis 1 says lots of things, nearly all of which have been thoroughly falsified.
And those seas that were trapped underneath the dry land became superheated. Okay, at some point they became superheated. They came out of solution.
I have to stop you right there. Do you even know what that means? I do. Ocean is a liquid carrying various other things therein. In this case, water can't come out of solution, as it is the liquid medium for the solution. You've also neglected to tell us by what mechanism it became superheated, or why a flat object as described by Genesis 1, complete with foundations to hold Earth above the quote-unquote waters, can turn into an oblate spheroid, with just the right density to produce an average of 1 g all the way around. Seems to me you're missing a bunch of mass in your attempt to make your delusions match observation.
When they came out of solution, they rushed out from the Earth, expanded the Earth like a piece of popcorn, like a popcorn kernel popping, boom.
Popcorn. You're going with that?
Here comes the Earth, boom. When that happens, out rushes all this water that rains back down, alright? Okay, causes a sedimentary, all that, okay? It settles into the seafloor basin, causes the oceans, right? Accounts for all of the historical records of what happened. Check out a topographical map without the oceans and you'll see the stretch marks that I'm talking about, okay?
You're still missing all that mass, and you forgot to include the Noarchean flood period in there. Because all that water being forced out, that kind of velocity and heat would have made life a bit warm for Noah and his kin, plus the dinosaurs and etc. Never mind the amount of energy released by the rain, or expended violently in the popping process. Any one of these things would lay Earth waste, never mind all of them.
Also, again, would it make any sense if the Earth, like they tell you in scientism, had all this mass of land all on one side gobbled up into a Pangea supercontinent? And then what, the Earth's not gonna like wobble like hell, like as in their scientism, it's spinning 1,000 miles an hour and all the mass is on one side, right? Like a big booger on that side of the fucking planet.
Do realize that the Earth has a wobble, right? It's called the precession of the equinoxes, and the process is very well understood. I've only been watching it head for Polaris from Thuban for a few millennia now. What's this about boogers, anyway? What are you, 5 years old? Surely with a vocabulary that can turn the word gathered into the word gobbled, you can find a better analogy than that. A vat of used condoms, perhaps?
And then what's gonna come around to allow that centrifugal force and wobble and shit to suddenly just break apart evenly and form, a spread of the continents? Okay.
It's called plate tectonics. Wildwood Claire has a lovely channel packed full of geology videos for you to peruse.
Okay. My theory says that the shit popped, and that's why you got the spread, that's why you got the stretch marks, that's why everything fits like a puzzle, okay? Their theory says that, again, centrifugal force of 1,000 miles an hour, somehow or other, shit just starts to float around over millions and millions of years. Because they said so, that's why. Because their opinion is a time machine.
Now you're back into conspiratard territory. You really need to check your facts before you spew half-baked religiously based bullshit.
Right. Okay, good stuff tonight, right? Boom, learned a lot about the Earth, didn't we? Check it out. The Principle movie is coming out. It's gonna piss off a lot of scientism religious retards. Alright, that's it. Bye.
Plug that movie again, and then sign off after your moment in cloud cuckoo land. The video is bad enough, But unfortunately you didn't stop there. You went on to continue the arguments in the comment section, all the way down to your liberal use of word salad at Cool Hard Logic, mocking of Robin Dupre Reed, abuse of Prose Lice 56 and others that were more than patient in trying to correct your ignorance. Kage asked me to go over the threads in some detail, but after your video, I think I should spare the viewers most of the pain involved there. To all you folks that were hoping to be quoted, sorry, but any attempt to dive in there would either add several minutes to the video and then been hard to edit, or would have ground down into ad hominem, and I'd rather not foam at the mouth quite that much. As it is, Kage is going to have to strip out the audio on your badly encoded video, and then re-encode it at a watchable speed. I do not envy him that task. If you like what we're doing and want to see more, then find the magic like and subscribe button, and then leave a comment or 6. We like to know what you really think of us, as living in a hudbox/echo chamber doesn't help anyone. The social media links are in the description, along with a way to support the channel more directly if you want to. If not, then at least turn off the ad block. Until next time, be safe, and remember to look at everything with a critical eye, regardless of what it is. Time for me to get off my soapbox, and let you get back to your day.